Alright, so I just wanted to go over a really quick fight I got here. Um, I had been out and about in my hookbill roaming. I came across this guy, Strawberry Berserker, in a smart bombing Maelstrom, Tempest, one of the two. He was hanging out on this gate, so I I had originally engaged him with the hook bill. There were some neutrals that came in and started firing on him as well, but he was warp core stabbed and warped out. So I decided I was going to go get something that could hit a little harder. So I went to Orville, picked up a new Jackdaw. It's been a little while since I've had my Jackdaw. So I came back in a Jackdaw. He's off scan, or, he's not here right now, but I'm kind of looking for him. You'll see me constantly mashing the scan on the D-scan key, but I'm just kind of waiting for him so I can try fighting him. I'm pretty sure he's stabbed, and it turns out he was, but that's not actually the fight we're gonna get to see here. That was just the setup. That's why I happen to be on this gate, why I'm just chilling here. And you'll notice that there was a gate flash right now, and +1 into local. So a war target just jumped into me. Um, I am I really do not care who it is. I'm sitting at the gate right now because I just want to fight the battleship, but I'm checking out who it is, um, how old their character is, etc. So he decloaks in a Punisher. I figure, okay, Punishers are either bait or the brick tanked or whatever. Some kind of. It's not a fight I really care for right now. But then he does this. He approaches me. He makes a beeline straight for me and locks me up. And he's intercom. The smart bombing battleship is Kanoko, and those two Calmil entities are actually at war with each other right now, or they have bad blood with each other. Um, so I I think I convo him here actually, and I'm like trying to tell him, hey, this guy's a smart bomber. Let's try to get him or whatever. But he locks me up here. He's had me locked up. He warp disrupts me and he starts firing on me. I turn on my adaptive. I start slow boating to him. I get the message over, but he keeps firing on me. So I decide, okay, well, let's just deal with this problem. So he is a kiting punisher, a beam kite punisher. I know that because he's hitting me with lasers, long-ranged lasers. So he's got to keep me at range, which usually means he's going to be very quick. Like his ship will be fit with micro warp drive, nanofibers, and all of that to try to keep me at range while he chips away at me. So, what I decided to do is you see me heating micro warp drive, scram, I think web goes up here in a second, and I double click to him. So I start approaching him. I'm in a Jackdaw, which is a Tech 3 destroyer, so I switch over to speed mode, which will give me more agility and overall speed. And I double click in his direction. Now, I wasn't fast enough to web him right here because I didn't have him locked. So he starts pulling away. So uh, this, what's about to happen here is a very simple trick that you can use in faction warfare, and it's very effective against kiting ships. Ships, specifically people who aren't manually piloting their ships. People who tell their ships to keep another ship at range or to orbit a target. In this case, he's keeping me at range, probably about 18 kilometers. So his ship is trying to pull away from me in this direction. So what I do is I spun my camera around and I just double click in this direction. I've still got my micro warp drive heated. I'm moving at probably 3 kilometers a second. So I start moving in the other direction. Uh, oh, it all happens really fast here, right? So I burn to him. He bounces because his ship is trying to keep me away from him. Oh, I got ahead of myself there. Okay. So I double click away. God damn it, this is frustrating. Okay, so we're moving away from the gate. I double click away right here. And so his ship is like, oh, wait, he's getting too far away from me. So it starts burning back towards me. And so he's basically burning straight at me. So I take advantage of my Jackdaw's agility and double click back at him again. And his ship takes long enough to turn around. Like, I'm able to get within 13 kilometers for webbing, and right now 10 kilometers for scramming, and he's just dead in the water. So then I just start turning off the heat on my mid slots. I don't need my micro warp drive on anymore, and I just chip away at him and blow him up. Ta-da! Uh, that's really it, and I'll play that back once more from the beginning of the fight without interruptions because this was kind of all over the place. Just so you can see everything playing back in full. So he's shooting at me, shooting at me. I'm in speed mode right now. I switched to defensive mode for a second while I'm on gate, thinking I can mitigate damage a little bit, but eventually I decide to, again, just go for him. So I wait for my mode switch timer to turn off, switch to speed mode, and then approach him, heat my prop, burn straight at him. He starts pulling away from me. So I could have caught him on that initial move, but I didn't have him locked up. So I start burning away, he starts coming back in, and then I just approach him again, and this time he comes within web range. Boom, boom, dead. And I switch to tank mode at the end there for good measure. So that's how you can catch kiting ships if you are in a ship that is not afterburner fit, that is kind of kite fit. um, it really, to catch a kiting ship, you need a micro warp drive and you need a scram, and 90% of the time, I would say you also need a web because the web will pull. It gives you a slightly larger area of engagement, a larger area. You saw there, he would have gotten away from me if I hadn't gotten a web on him initially. So it just gives you a little bit of extra wiggle room there for those types of fights. Kiting ships are really easy to kill once you've caught them, but they just, the trick is catching them. And a lot of players will just fly them poorly. So I mean, you've seen it here. Um, and this guy, the same guy, came back in. I wasn't recording at that point, but he comes back in a couple of minutes in a slicer, and literally the same thing, almost the same thing happens. I pull away. This time he's a little quote unquote wiser to my tactics, but instead of manually piloting, he just reapproached the gate. So I was able to just catch him on the gate, but he was already aggressed, so I just popped him. So that's that. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something.